So you've already beaten Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now the question is, what's next? Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. And today we got a good one. We're going to be discussing and speculating on the future of the mainline Pokemon games for the next couple of years. Before we get started though, I gotta make a quick note. There is no concrete or hard evidence to yet confirm what the next Pokemon games are. So instead I will be speculating using previous patterns from the Pokemon Company to hypothesize what game's up next. Also, these release dates will be broken down by years. Oh, and real quick, I need a huge favor out of you all. I need everyone who's watching this video to use 10 million volt Thunderbolt on that subscribe button. Now recently, ever since about Gen 7, the Pokemon Company has kind of surprised us with unique releases, like the Let's Go Duo games and Legends Arceus. However, based on their financial success and overall well-reception, I don't see these series of games going away anytime soon. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get started. In 2023, I believe the first new mainline Pokemon game content we will be receiving is DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now I for one am kinda against this. Having to pay $40+ for post-game content that should honestly be in the game to begin with is kinda criminal. In Sword and Shield, I was so bored with the Crown Tundra, I didn't even finish that storyline. And the only reason I completed the Isle of Armor is because we were locked in the house because of COVID. And I'll admit Mustard was pretty cool. Okay, so yeah. Personally, I would much rather prefer to receive a third game with many of the glitches, errors, and mistakes polished up. If we look back to the past, many of the third version or sequel games have been very well received and are honestly some of the best in the entire series. For me personally, my top 3 favorite games are Emerald, Platinum, and White 2. So Pokemon Company, give us that Magenta version so we can catch more Paradox Pokemon from both the past and future. Alright, so back to the DLC. I think we could get the first part around late March or early April. That will be almost 5 months from the release of Scarlet and Violet, and it seems like a pretty fitting time. This will also coincide with the release of the new, semi-rebooted Pokemon anime. It'll be roughly 11 weeks after the Ash and Pikachu final chapters, and could lead right into the new anime with Liko and Roy beginning their Paldean journey. Hopefully we'll get more Pokemon added to the game as well, beyond just bringing more National Dex Pokemon, but new Pokemon altogether. Specifically, I'm talking about more Legends and Paradox Pokemon. The second and likely final part of the Scarlet and Violet games will be released at the end of 2023 in November or December. Pokemon always tries to release some new content during the end of the year to get in on that Christmas spending. Plus, it will be roughly about a year since the release of the games. Now, as for speculation on the actual content of the second part of the DLC, everyone and their brother seems to believe it'll be something related to the Kalos region. Maybe something similar to what we got in the Johto games where we traveled back to an entire previous region. And I for one think this would be awesome, but it has to be done correctly. Imagine seeing the Kalos region years after the XY games with a Neo Team Flare, complete Zygarde, and of course more Mega Evolutions. And yeah, we have a ton of evidence to believe a trip back to Kalos is possible. I mean, we're already in a European-based region, the Pokemon Company re-registered the XY logos, and Champion Gita used Go-Goat and Avalugg. There's only one small problem with this theory though, and that is that this is Game Freak we're talking about. All that stuff would take lots of time, effort, and money, and ever since Gen 6, that's just not who they are anymore. They can consistently put in the least amount of effort possible and still make tons of money. So yeah, unfortunately the dreams of a proper return to Kalos will likely have to wait. Instead, we'll probably get some weak Terror Raid battle thing to play with others online. Alright, well that's all I see coming for 2023. Let's move on to the next year. At the end of 2023, likely in early November, I imagine we'll get a major Pokemon Presents to not only show off part 2 of the DLC, but they'll also announce their slate of 2024 games. And let me say it now, we will not be getting Black and White remakes. Besides Fire Red and Leaf Green, remakes do not occur till the gen of the original games was released as doubled up. What I mean is, Gen 2 got remade in Gen 4, Gen 3 got remade in Gen 6, and Gen 4 got remade in Gen 8. So we'll come back to Unova remakes a little later. So for 2024, I believe we'll get 2 games, and it's gonna be a lot of love for the Johto region, beginning in late March with Let's Go Johto games. Maybe Let's Go Umbreon and Let's Go Espeon? A fun, lighthearted game to continue the Let's Go series. Also, I would love to see terrestrialization occur in these games to shake things up. Maybe we could even lead up to a battle on Mount Silver with Chase from the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee games. Now obviously these games would be for the younger crowd and continue on in the separate Let's Go universe. Hopefully this one can improve on a pretty good Gen 1 Let's Go games and include things like abilities, held items, and gym rematches. Also, please make the good Johto Pokemon like Houndoom and Tyranitar actually available in the Johto parts of these games. But for the holiday release of 2024, I believe we'll be getting a Legend Celebi game. With all the amazing lore to be found in the Johto region, this makes perfect sense. I'm sure you guys have seen the truly stunning trailer on YouTube created by YesER for a game like this. And now that I think about it, this game has so much potential. Make sure you guys go check out the full trailer. I will attach a link in the description. She is beyond talented. So from Ho-Oh and the legendary beasts in the Burnt Tower, to new forms, evolutions, ride Pokemon, and just regular Pokemon, there's so much story to tell here. Of course, it would all revolve around Celebi though, who is the original time-traveling Pokemon. Maybe we could even see that young Sam Oak. This game could also improve on the errors of Legends Arceus. The second time around is always better. Now the starters I'd like to see for this game are Sobble, Tepig, and Chespin. 3 Pokemon that deserve more love. I'd also love to see the Pokemon Company take many more risks with this game. Try everything, I say. Come on Pokemon, give it to us! Next, for 2025, I believe we'll only be getting one mainline Pokemon release, and that of course would be Gen 10. Wow, that's pretty crazy to think about, but it will almost certainly happen this year. Since Gen 6, we've gotten new mainline Pokemon games every 3 years from the Pokemon series. Now, I have no idea where these Pokemon games will take place, but I for one would love to see an Italian or African-based region. We haven't seen either of these areas represented in the Pokemon series, although, now that I'm thinking about it, it's unlikely we'll see a third straight European-based region in a row, so that Italian form Charizard might be on hold for a while. You gotta let me know though what kind of real-world area you would like to see Gen 10 based around in the comments below. Now, as players dig more and more into the Paldea games, I'm interested to see what hints towards Gen 10 you will find. Kinda like how we saw that Tiki figure in Gen 6 hinting towards Alola, or that G-Max Toxtricity poster found in the Sun and Moon games. Alright, then to wrap up Gen 10 in 2026, it will finally be time. Enter the Unova remakes. And please, please, please keep Ilka away from them. Please, Pokemon. Everyone loves everything about the Gen 5 games, from the mons to the lore to the characters. Please don't botch these up and give us that BDSP treatment. Now, I personally don't think a Legends game is necessary for the Black and White Unova games, as long as we finally get to see the original dragon. What we need is something similar to what we saw out of the ORAS games, which dives deeper into the lore of the games and greatly expands upon it. Now, many Pokemon fans believe that the Unova games do not actually even need remakes, but I mean, when has Pokemon ever been one to listen to their fans? Now, something interesting to note is that we've never seen 2 sets of remakes occur on the same console. By this, I mean we got Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy, Heart Gold and Soul Silver on the DS, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire on the 3DS, and now Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl on the Switch. So I'll guess we'll have to wait for the next console for these games. And the same probably goes for Gen 10 as a whole, as we've never seen more than 2 regions on a single console. I wonder what that console will be. But whatever it is, I'm sure of one thing, and that's that DK Oldies will upcharge the heck out of it. Some additional things I'd like to see out of the Pokemon games is a port of the Gen 3 games to the Switch. You know, like what we saw from Gen 2 on the 3DS. I think this could happen sometime in the middle of 2023. I'd also really like to see something like a Pokemon Coliseum or XD Gale of Darkness type game for the Switch. Maybe fit this into sometime in early 2024. The Pokemon Company has kind of been experimenting with new games and ideas recently, so I think this would totally be something refreshing to see. I think through all these games, ports, patches, DLC, and home, we should be able to get a full 1200 plus Pokemon decks in a single game someday. Wow, catching them all just got real. I also wouldn't be surprised if mixed in these next few years we got a few more Mystery Dungeon games or even another Pokken game. And I for one am eagerly waiting for Pokemon Dash 2. Well guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I had a ton of fun speculating on these next few releases from the Pokemon Company, but honestly, I'm more interested in hearing from what you guys have to say. What would you guys like to see come next? Be sure to comment your predictions and hopes down below. And also, Happy New Year's to all of you. Let's make 2023 awesome. Thanks guys.